Okay, so I am now, where am I? Nearly at about stitch, I don't know, 30-ish of round 40. So let's look at our pattern. Is it round 40? Yeah, so round 40, tricky as it is to see on my little copy here, round 40, this is the point where when I get to the edge of the mitten part, it's a great big old blank in the middle. There's nothing going on. So let's just have a look. What does that mean? Okay, so I've done all of the increasing for the thumb, as you can see. You can see that lovely stripy pattern. It's dead easy now to see that that is the thumb, isn't it? Look at that in comparison to our what did I call that? Enlarged, there we go. Into our enlarged pattern. It's absolutely easy to tell what's going on there, isn't it? But even, you know, you can see on the enlarged pattern, we've got air. We don't know what happens. We don't know. So let's just crack on and find out, shall we? So I'm, like I said, just getting across to the end of the mitten part, or the hand part of our mitten, and when I get to the stitch marker which indicates our thumb, I'm going to stop for the moment. So at this point, both of my yarns are still on that needle at the end of the hand part of the mitten, and all of my thumb stitches are still on the needle, having not been worked on this round yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thumb, or these thumb stitches, I'm just going to put these stitches to one side for now. I don't want them just at the moment. I want to carry on knitting my mitten and forgetting about this thumb for now, and come back to that and finish it later. So the way we're going to do that is put those stitches on a bit of waste yarn. That is the term, waste yarn. It means yarn that you're not going to be using in the project, not your live yarn or anything like that. What I've done is I've taken the bodkin from my box, and I've just got a piece of cotton yarn here, sort of thicker cotton yarn, you know, like I would use for perhaps crochet or knitting, sort of a 4-ply cotton yarn. And the reason I've chosen cotton, you can use anything at all, but I've chosen a bit of cotton out of my stash because it is smooth. Okay, and that becomes helpful later on when we take those stitches back onto our needles to work them. Anything at all you use is absolutely fine, but if you can make it smooth, I think you're going to find that a bit more helpful. You might also have a stitch holder. They work well, but I think I would recommend for this thumb in this scenario, I think I'd recommend a bit of waste yarn, and you'll see why as we go on. Okay, so I've got my thumb stitches still to be worked on this needle. I've threaded my bodkin. There's no knot or anything in that. It's just a piece of cotton. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little bodkin here as if it's a knitting needle, or not really even that. I'm just going to thread that needle through each stitch, not twisting it or anything, so the needle's kind of going in the front of it as if I'm working a purl, really. And I'm going through all of those stitches and just slipping them off the end of the needle. But when I pull my thread through, whoops, you can see they're just held safely on there, almost like they're sitting on the cable of our circular needle. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to go and continue threading my needle through all of them and pulling them off of the needle, and keeping them safe and secure and live. And by live, I mean we've not cast them off. This isn't a thumbless mitten, and it definitely continues and has a full mitten. So the stitches are live, which means I could pick them up and knit them again if I wanted to straight away. So just keeping them securely on this piece of cotton. So if I just pull that a bit there, you can see just, I think, that sort of teal colour cotton going through there. What I'm going to do, you don't have to do this, but what I'm going to do, and it does illustrate quite neatly where this thumb is going to go in a minute, I'm just going to put a little knot in it to draw those stitches together. Don't need to, but it just keep it, like I said, it's a good illustrator as to what happens in a bit. Except obviously I can't do it. I'm chasing it all around the place. You don't need to put a knot in it. They'll be sort of secure. Well, Actually, no, maybe you do need to put a knot in it. Sorry, I don't know what I was talking about there. Keep a knot in it to keep them nice and secure. You don't have to pull it up tight like that for me. But you can see, look, even if I just go like that, you can see what's happening to that thumb. We need it to be left, we need to keep, sort of let it be its own thing now, so we can carry on working up our mitten. And I'm just going to show you that right now. So when we were working down here, down this part of the mitten, we had none of this going on. We just had sort of one side, then we flipped over and did the other side. We are back to that now, folks. So I've done my first part of the mitten, and I'm going to flip it over, go back into our starting position of magic loop, and I am now ready just to work the second round of the second needle of that round, without even thinking about my thumb stitches. So let's just do a bit of that, and then I will show you where we go from there. So nothing special about continuing. I remember the patterns. I'm just going to have a quick glance at that. Nothing special to do apart from to start your knitting in exactly the same way as you had before on this second needle, because this second needle has always remained unencumbered with thumb stitches. Right, so where am I? I am on row 40, so which is handy because row 40 is sort of quite a lot of seafarer really, and you will see what happens as I work round a little bit. There's absolutely no interruption to your knitting as you carry on. You can carry on your pattern all the way up, Right, let me just stop there and just have a little turn back and turn back this way. So I think you can see that now I'm in a position where I'm just going to carry on those two sides of mittens. And what that looks like on my pattern is I just carry on. I do one of my mittens, ignore all that, and carry on the other mitten. So there's nothing going on between the two sides anymore. When we started, we had that one thumb stitch going all the way up. That's gone. None of that happening anymore. So you will complete this part of the pattern, and then you will turn your magic loop over and you will complete that part of the pattern. That is all that gap in the middle means. It means we've taken care of our thumb, we've done all the increases and everything's good. We're just going from one side to the other side now and continuing on. So let me show you what that looks like with the thumb sort of put off onto waste yarn. Here's one I made earlier, folks. You can tell it's mine because it hasn't been blocked and it's a little bit lumpy, but that's okay, that's fine. So we took our thumb stitches off onto waste yarn around about round 40, which is here. I continued on and finished knitting my mitten, and I have got videos, we have got videos to show you the decreases and the Kitchener stitch at the top, so forget about that for now because I'm just concerned with the thumb. So what we've got to do, and here's yet another mitten. This is beautifully done. This is Anna's one. What we've got to do, if you look, we've got part of the thumb, but we've got to finish all of this bit now, and that is what I'm going to show you how to do now. How we're going to go and pick these stitches up and finish up this thumb up here.